Okay, this is going to be my last attempt at making this announcement Pokemon tournament video. Now, why did I say last attempt? Because I will get this thing right. Now, first off, where am I holding it? Well, it's not just one tournament, it's going to be four. And where am I holding it? At the Downtown Hall Tampa Bay Convention Center on July 19th. Okay. It'll be during the MetroCon on convention that is going on there. Actually, they'll be helping me. They should be helping me by supplying me the TVs and the systems required to run the tournament. Now, why do I say systems required to run the tournament? Well, simple. We're going to be using these for the tournament. We're going to be playing on the 3D game systems. For example, Kanto Tournament, which that's the first tournament, will be using Pokemon Stadium. Johto is going to be using Pokemon Stadium 2. Hoenn going to be using Coliseum, and Sinnoh Battle Revolution. Now, Kanto, you're required to have a copy of red, blue, and yellow physically, because it won't work in these. Now, you are not required to bring your own copy of this. Why? Because I'm bringing two of them, and that's what I'm supplying for the tournament. Okay? Whereas, as the tournament hall will be supplying the space and the TV and probably the game systems. I'll also be supplying the game station, meaning you don't have to have a copy of Stadium 2, Coliseum, and Battle Revolution. I'll be providing those, plus two of these for Stadium 1 and 2, two of these for Battle Revolution. I mean, not Battle Revolution, Coliseum. But Battle Revolution, you will need to bring your own DS and make sure your own DS is charged. Now, for the Johto tournament, you will be allowed to use gold, silver, crystal, or red, blue, and yellow cartridges. Why? Because Stadium 2 is pretty compatible with those games. So, moving on from there. You will also be able to use for the Hoenn tournament. Not able to use, required to have either a ruby, sapphire, emerald, fire red, or leaf green cartridge for the Hoenn tournament. If you want to use your own Coliseum or XD Gale of Darkness Pokemon, you have to have transferred them over to one of the handheld cartridges games. No exceptions. Moving on. We move on to the Battle Revolution tournament. You will be able to use a copy of. You will have to use a physical cartridge copy of Diamond, Pearl, Heart Gold, Soul Silver, or Platinum. Now that I've gotten over the physical requirements, the locations, and really pretty much a good chunk of your first questions you will be asking about the tournament, you're probably next going to be asking, okay, what are the restrictions on the stuff we can do and the fees, if anything? One, there is no fee. It's a free tournament. Then just sign up and you can enter. Second, games. What are the restrictions? Well, for the entire tournament, all four, it'll be not either. It'll be level 50 through level 55 Pokemon only. You don't have to register 6 specifically. You can rotate through many different ones, but you cannot use any Pokemon that is on the Uber list for that specific gen. For example, Alakazam is on the not Alakazam. For example, Salamence is on the OU list for Gen 3, but for Gen 4, he's on the Uber list. Meaning you can use a Salamence in Gen 3 tournaments, you cannot use him in Gen 4 tournaments. Okay, now, what is Ubers? Well, pretty much the top tier of the game that even in Smogon and Game Freak, pretty much they banned these Pokemon from their tournaments. So these things are kind of overpowered. Word. When looked at in the gen that they're being considered Uber. Okay? Obviously, if you're about to ask what changed between Gen 3 and Gen 4 to make Salamence and go from OU to Uber, well, plenty of things actually changed. Physical special split, it might have taken out some of his counters, might have given him some new moves to work with, a lot of things. And if you want to learn more, just go to the page on the Smogon website, which I will be providing down below. Easy digestible Gen 1 Uber list here, Gen 2 Uber list, and so on and so on. Now, overused, you can only have one overused Pokemon on your party during any match. Meaning, if you have, say, 5 Dragonites sitting in your PC box, that's good, fine. But if you have 2 Dragonites or sorry, all right, bad example. Well, say you have 5 Alakazam and you're entering the Gen 1 tournament. You have 1 on your team and the 5 in the PC box. You're good. But if you have 2 on your team, you're not good. So yeah, 1 OU Pokemon at a time. But if you really don't want to have all your power be poured into one Pokemon by having one Pokemon be your ace, and would rather have a more diverse team from Gen 2 onward, instead of having one OU Pokemon on at a time as your option, you could have 2 borderline Pokemon on instead. Keyword being instead, meaning if you don't want that one if you want that 2 borderline Pokemon on your team, you have to have no OU Pokemon on your team during the match in which those 2 borderlines are being used. You can rotate between them, but it's either 1 OU or 2 borderlines. Never both, or never a combination of the 2, meaning you can't have 1 borderline and 1 OU. That's not how it's going to work, okay? Oh boy. Wait. The other restrictions for the tournament that will plague the tournament is this. You are only allowed to have 1 Pokemon be frozen at a time, and same goes for sleep. Meaning, say I send out I don't know, Blastoise, and you manage to freeze him. I switch him out and go for say a Rhydon. You put him to sleep. That's legal. But if you try and put Rhydon, freeze Rhydon and Blastoise, not going to happen. I already have a bit locked into the rules on the game systems themselves so that you can't do it anyway. The move will fail and you'll have wasted a turn. Now, there's one last thing that is individual about each tournament that I do have to get into before I explain the prizes and the registration, okay? Each tournament and has certain moves that are banned. And for all the tournaments, you are not allowed to use evasion moves, meaning double team and minimize are banned from the tournament. Now, if you want to use something like smoke screen that affects accuracy, that's legal. And why? Because your opponent can do something about it. They can say their accuracy has been severely lowered. They can swap out that Pokemon that has the accuracy for another, and the accuracy debuffs are removed. There's no way for them to force you to lose your evasion buffs. So, yeah, know that. And no Oko moves. This one's obvious. Because who wants to get hit by Horn Drill that one time and be instantly defeated just because that other guy got lucky to use a move that one hits anything, regardless of typing? Yeah, nobody. It's like pulling out Exodia in a Yu-Gi-Oh battle. You just look at the guy like you don't want. I don't want to use the word scrub, but you're still. It's because it doesn't apply. Scrub means they have no knowledge of what they're doing. When in this scenario, they know what they're doing. They're just trying to be a troll. There it is, troll. So don't want that to happen. So none of those moves. But each of the first three tournaments also have a specific set of moves that you can use on most Pokemon, but not on very specific Pokemon. And what I mean, Gen 1, you're not allowed to use Reflect on an Alakazam. Yeah, back then, that made Alakazam pretty dang broken. Moving on, you're not allowed to have Giga Drain on a Gengar during the Gen 1 tournament, or Blizzard on Tauros during the Gen 1 tournament. Especially the Tauros one, I'm not budging on that, simply because there's a reason why Tauros is called the King of Red, Blue, and Yellow when talking about those games from back in the day. And if you don't believe me, go look it up on Smogon. I'm providing the links down below for the OU tiering and the under U tiering ring too, just so you can kind of get a little bit of a kickstart on what you should be able to build for your teams. Anyway, the next restriction is for the Johto tournament. The Johto tournament, only one Pokemon is having its move pool restricted, and that Pokemon is Snorlax. Snorlax has overpowered in Gold, Silver, and Crystal, has Tauros is in Red, Blue, and Yellow. And what is Snorlax moves that cannot be used in this tournament? Sleep Talk and Lovely Kiss. or I think it was Rest Talk, but either way, hey, do not think about it. Broken has all hell back in the day. Most of his counters are just checks. They can't really guarantee he's going down. And pretty much he has a favorable matchup against most, if not almost every Pokemon during Gen 2 who with those two moves. Without those two moves, it's a little bit more fair. And finally, I move on to Gen 3, where you are not allowed to have a Smeargle with Ingrain. Now, why? Well, simple. Well, it led to some severe brokenness with baton passing. And we don't need a repeat of those shenanigans. So, yeah. So other than that, there's no more restrictions. Well, one more restriction. You can't have two for example, underused of gold and silver. You can't have two Quagsires on your team. You can't have two of any Pokemon on your team at the exact same time during a match. If you want to have two Quagsires with two different movesets, that's fine. It's just one of them has to sit on the bench in the PC box while the other is being used in a match. Okay. Finally, the prizes is the Gen 1 tournament prize is this. Gen 2 tournament prize is this. Gen 3 tournament prize is this. And Gen 4 tournament prize is this. These are all pretty rare versions of the AR cards. Not too many people got their hands on these cards. Well, except for this one, but it's different for every individual AR card. At least I think that's why it's a mystery item. So I thought that would be a decent prize to throw in with the 3 exclusive AR cards. And it's not a bad deal, for it simply being a free tournament. Now, how do you register? Well, you could register via YouTube, and I'll have 2 different channels, and you can easily register by sending me a private message. But I know a lot of people don't like doing that, or at least some people. I'm pretty sure it's a lot of people, but I know at least half the people aren't going to want to do that. You want to do it in person. Well, when you get to MetroCon, the vendors hall where they sell all the merchandise, once that closes down, you have an hour to register with me. Now, where will I be? Once the vendors hall closes down on July 19th, at say 5, 6 o'clock is when I think they close the vendor hall down. Don't quote me on that. But once they close it down at like 5 or 6 o'clock, or I think even 7 at latest, is once they close the vendor's hall down, I will be down by the escalators on the bottom floor or chilling around there for about an hour after the vendors have closed down. So, you can find me right there and register with me that way. Wait. It will be. I'll either be wearing a Captain Rex cosplay, a Kingdom Hearts Organization 13 cosplay, or a Shaman King cosplay. I haven't decided which one I'm going with. So I'm giving you all three of my options so you can kind of look for all three of those. And again, I'm going to be stationary, so it shouldn't be too hard to find me there. Now, if you want to register before the vendors close down and secure your registration, you can find me walking around the entirety of the convention with my brother and my best friend. And okay, hey, I'll be wearing those cosplays as I mentioned in the before, or it'll be either a Captain Rex from Star Wars, or it's Organization 13 cloak, or a Shaman King cosplay. So just come up to me and register either while I'm walking around or during the hour in which I am stationary at the bottom near the escalator. And it will be the escalator that is on the left-hand side of the building. Okay? The escalators on the left-hand side. Thanks for watching. See you guys at the tournament.